Oh, hello there, I am Georgina, the Honest Vocal Coach. Today I am going to be doing a recap to semi-final 2 Eurovision 2024, and as you can see, I am in my crystal shop. So what a fantastic evening. I really enjoyed semi-final 2. Although I have to be honest with you, I'm not feeling it as much this year as previous years. There's not that many standout songs for me that have actually hooked me. And I've heard this before from other Eurovision reactors who are like, well, this year's not as strong as last year. And I'm like, how can you really compare it? But I do kind of understand now. I don't really feel it's been as strong as I would have thought it was going to be for this year. I think maybe because last year was Liverpool and it was just sort of UK based, it was just super exciting for me. So I've made all of the notes. I'm going to work my way through my notes from last night, and I don't know if you were, but I was listening to Radio 2 this morning, and it was Loreen and Rylan and Scott and Richie all talking about Loreen's performance that she's preparing for. It was very exciting stuff because she's performing tomorrow night, so I'm really looking forward to that. So we're going to start off with Malta, as they were the first performers last night, and also, like my last recap, I'm going to be giving the vocals a rating out of 5. Now I think I was a little bit harsh on the first time round, so this time round I just want to let you know that these ratings out of 5 are not just for technique, but they're also for the amount of energy and emotional quality they put in. So basically how hard they're trying at these vocals, because I have found over the last so many years of doing Eurovision, is that some singers are just too laid back and it doesn't suit the song. It's all about what suits the song and how much you need to give it. So Malta started off with weak vocals for me, unfortunately. Lots of support backing on the track. I mean, loads of vocals on the back, literally singing almost for her in places. There's a lot of that this year. And as I've said in my other recap, you can go back and look at my opinion on the rehearsals and also my opinion on the performances when the songs first came out. There is a playlist at the end of the video, so you can check that out. I'm also at the end of the video going to tell you who I think the best performance of last night was, and also I'm going to be going through the qualifiers, who I got right and who I got wrong, because there were some wrong ones this time round. There's a couple that didn't go through, which I was really shocked about. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's what's happening this year. Right, so back to Malta. Not keen on the growling. I felt like it was a performance that they were trying to do everything. Difficult dance routine, song itself wasn't that easy to sing, and I just felt that because of the dancing, her stamina wasn't holding up for the vocals, so the technique wasn't great. There were some flashes of good vocals, but I'd say all in all, it was like 80% there. She wasn't quite at that 100%. Love the flip. My favourite move from the entire competition. I like this one and also this one, but that flip, just brilliant. Her riffs, the agility wasn't great, but there was a riff before the big riff at the end, which she pulled off brilliantly. So for vocals, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 for technique, emotion and energy. Right, Albania up next. Now Albania, how many costume changes? Not actually in the performance, but this is the 3rd costume. There was one, actually hang on, let's reverse. There was a costume for the first time we ever got to see the song. Then they changed the song and sung it in English, and it was all a little bit different. And then she has a different costume on for the first rehearsal, a different one for the second rehearsal, and then a completely different one again for the actual performance. What's going on with costumes? And this isn't the only one. There is loads that have switched costumes throughout this competition this year. I've been quite surprised because, You'd think that the stylists and those people that are preparing the performance are absolutely all in with the costumes and they know what they're doing, they've figured it out, it's all good. But there's been so many switches. Italy changed their costume, Austria changed their costume, Switzerland changed their costume. I could go on and on of all of the performers that have had different costumes throughout the rehearsal process to get to the final. I bet you're right, when we get to the final on Saturday, they'll be wearing something different again. So there were some gaspy moments in Albania's performance, but all in all, she had a good vocal. There were lots of vocals on the track as well. And there was some dodgy agility in places. Her voice sounded really dry, because I've heard her voice numerous times before, but it did sound like she was not in tip-top health. There was a dryness to her voice that I hadn't noticed before. There was moments where she looked nervous and tense. I did really enjoy the song. I kind of thought that it was going to get through. I really got into it as the song went on, and it was a pretty impressive performance. So I would give the vocals for this one a 4 out of 5. Greece, right. Not a fan of this song. I didn't think that it was going to qualify. I wasn't sure, but it did. But we'll go over what I thought was going to qualify and not at the end. Anyway, not a fan of this song. I don't think it flows. It's like 2 or 3 different songs and then like chuck bits together. And it just didn't flow for me. If that's your thing, if you like stuff like that, then that's great. It just wasn't for me. I thought her head voice at the beginning of the song, the diction was superb, and her vocals were mostly pretty good. The rap kicked in and it seemed to slip a little in terms of the timing and the speed, so I don't know if she was having trouble with her inner ears and actually hearing the music, because it didn't always sync up. And there was mic technique as well. There was a bit where her mic just wasn't there when it should have been. And I don't know if that was because the adrenaline kicked in, the energy kicked in, but there were moments where literally the mic was not where it should have been. So the vocals were a little bit shaky, and she missed vocals because of the choreo, because it was so fast. There were bits where she just missed the vocals because of the routine. She couldn't get it there in time. She didn't have just the time, really. So for this one, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 for vocals. Right, Switzerland. Now you'll probably guess this before we even get to the end of my video today. This is my favourite to win. I've said this pretty much from the beginning, although I did think Sand was going to do well. But yeah, it kind of went down the listings as soon as Switzerland came out. I was like, that's the winner. Switzerland is the winner this year. So that's what I reckon is going to win. And after last night's performance, it was just so good. I take back everything I said about revolves. Why is a revolve a good idea? It was awesome. It was so not what I was expecting. I thought that they were just going to lay on it. They didn't. They stood on it and it spun. It was literally like the Matrix. Not for 1 second did they lose their stamina, control, technique. It was there the entire time. It was an outstanding performance. Currently, my winner of the competition. Vocals, 5 out of 5. Right, Czechia next. Diction, didn't always understand what was being sung. Quite cursive. And the low notes weren't supported. Very similar to Iceland. I felt like the song was just that little bit too low. And you couldn't hear those lower notes. There was no support and control behind them. And I don't think it's her fault. I think the song was just written in the wrong key. It could have been up a little bit, just like Iceland. It could have been better if they weren't struggling with the low notes. And I didn't really think much of the verse of this song. The chorus was pretty cool. But in terms of the verses, it was just kind of like, it's kind of there just leading to the chorus. Costume change yet again, a different costume. But it did really have a good belt at the end. So 3 out of 5 for vocals. France. Now, I don't have to tell you whether this has qualified or not because it's automatically qualified, it's in the final. Still don't like this. I don't know how you feel about it, but I know they put the most money in the competition. I get that, the big five, but it still grates on me a little bit that they get to go through to the final without having to compete to get there. It's like, what? In what other competition is this allowed? If this was a local sort of singing competition or talent competition, no way would that happen. Although saying that, there have been occasions with, rich parents who put all the money in and, oh, surprise, they won. So, it was the ultimate cheese, this one. It was a very, very emotive performance. His voice was incredible, but there was so much cringy cheese in it. The first moment where he literally taps on the camera, it's like, oh, that made me cringe. And at the end, where he puts his hand under the camera as if it's under somebody's chin, again, cringe, absolute cringe. It just, I really love his voice. I love the moment where he stood in the car park singing. Literally, he's not stood in the car park, but he's so far away from the mic, but it still sounds absolutely epic. It is a little bit of a self-absorbed performance. I will hold my hand up and say that, and I'm sure you will attack me for it, but it just felt like he was performing within himself at times and not out so much to the audience. I'm not sure about that element to it. Beautiful song, not a winner for me. 5 out of 5 for vocals. When the darkness hits and we can't be seen, right, Austria, I love this song. It was such a bop. It is such a bop. And the dancing, my goodness, it felt like I was watching, there's this girl that was in Glee, can't remember her name, an actress that was in Glee, and she was the best dancer and just incredible. Apparently she performed with Beyonce and other artists as well. She's just an incredible dancer. I just felt like this was that situation where she was just a superb dancer, but unfortunately the voice was not that powerful at times. It definitely improved as the performance went on. The belts were unstable at the beginning, but they did improve as the song went on as well. It was a bop. Agility did need some work from time to time, but as I said, it did get better as it went on. 4 out of 5. Right, so Denmark. This kind of surprised me because this was on my winner list. It was at the top 5 when we first started working through all of the songs as they were released. But I didn't feel it so much last night. I thought the sand in her hands and the images on the back with the sand was kind of cool, but when I really listened closely to the song, the verses didn't really do an awful lot. And again, too low, but she did hold her own with this. Wasn't as bad as Czechia or as Iceland, where they proper struggle with the low notes. She held her own with the low notes, but it's like, why have them? Just tick it up a little bit. And this song as well is literally the chorus. I can't remember at this moment in time what the melody is for the verses. Gone. Poof. Same with Put My Head on a Pedestal. Put my head on a pedestal. Put myself on a... What am I saying? Put myself on a pedestal. That's all I can remember. I don't know what the verse sounded like. It's literally the chorus. And I think a really good song, you remember all of it. I thought the performance was really static. She was stood on a box. It was all the hands. Sand. Best bit was when she did the higher belt. Sounded epic. But we need more than that for a winning performance. Vocals, unfortunately, 3 out of 5. Armenia, I like this one. It's kind of cute and I'm glad that it went through. I was surprised that it went through, but it's a cute song. Not an awful lot of lyrics, and it is essentially just the la 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 la. But other than that, a really cute song. She performed so well. She's got this like cheekiness about her. There's a charisma. It's very, very fun. Confident vocals, quality tone, 4 out of 5.
Help me understand. It's killing.
Right, Latvia, I am so pleased this one went through. I didn't think that it would at times because it's, I don't know, it's lacking a little bit of something, but my goodness, that guy can sing. So looks like Jasper Carrott though, so if you are from the UK, you will know what I'm talking about. Of a certain age, there's a comedian called Jasper Carrott. His face is literally the same. Anyway, the vocals were outstanding. The song, brilliant. I woke up humming it this morning. Such a good song. Didn't like the costume, didn't get the whole warrior chest thing. Absolutely cracking vocals. The texture, the dynamics, the choice of distortion in places. Just a brilliant voice. I mean, France's vocal is superb, but Switzerland and also Latvia, just amazing. It's not always about having the most phenomenal riffs or the most phenomenal like belts. It's about the textures in the voice and the emotive quality, and these just absolutely had it. Latvia just had it down. Lots of charisma. He had a sort of just a gentle look in his face, and at the end you could see that he was really over emotional, so he'd put everything into it. It was just beautiful. 5 out of 5. Spain. When I first saw this, I really liked it. I thought it was a fun song, but the more I've watched it and got used to it, the more I've got bored of it. I can't even remember the melody at this point in my head, so I'm sorry, Spain. This isn't against Spain in any way. None of my recap is about the countries. It's about the song and the performance. That's what I'm going with. But she's too laid back in the way that she performs. I just wanted more oomph and fire behind her, but it just wasn't there. The best moment of this that stood out, well, best, I don't know if you want to call it that, but the strongest moment of the song that you're going to remember is the two bottoms, the very beautiful pert bottoms that we got to see. If it wasn't for the bottoms, would we be bothered for the Spain song? That's what I'm saying. Vocals, no energy, talky, 1 out of 5. San Marino felt like I was watching a cartoon. It was very kind of anime, Powerpuff Girls. There was something definitely going on with the vibe of it, the colour scheme. It looked really, really effective. Not a fan of the song though, very pitchy vocals. There was this moment in the song as well, in the pre-chorus, that sounded like a Lady Gaga song, and I can't put my finger on what it is, so I might have to re-listen to that bit and try and figure it out. No vocal control whatsoever on this one. 2 out of 5 for vocals. Georgia. I love the fact that Georgia have a stronger song this year. Georgia for me over recent years just haven't had a strong song. It's always been down at the bottom of my list. But this year kind of changed it. It was really nice to see Georgia perform. Her vocals were outstanding. I know that she's sung with Kylie and other folks she's been on. I think it's American Idol or one of the idols. So she can really sing. The song though, bit repetitive for me. But her technique vocally, great technique, style choices for the song. Obvious choreo though, you know that one? I just was like, really? All right. Shaky mixed belt. Agility was good for the most of the time. And I do think that the adrenaline got to her a little. So we're going 4 out of 5 for vocals. I got a soul on fire. Musty from Belgium. Now this is a shame. I like this song. The video is fantastic and it just really hits hard. But I kind of knew this was going to be a bit iffy because in all of the performances that he's given in the pre-show parties and stuff, it's always been a little bit weak and not always hit all of the notes, and that was totally the case last night. It was sharp in a lot of the places. It just felt that support and that control had just gone out of the window. It wasn't like the adrenaline took over. it just wasn't a great vocal. Didn't get the idea of the mics all around him. I didn't see the point in that. I didn't understand, really. It was such a shame, though. I really like the song. It's such not consistently strong vocally. So 2 out of 5. Estonia. So surprised that this got through. I was like, what? This is the song of the year that I didn't like. Finland's kind of down there as well this year. But Estonia, I just didn't get it. It was like a whole bunch of guys just wandering about the stage, not knowing where they're supposed to stand. The vocals were not, I don't know, they weren't really singing vocals. They were just talking it. The best vocal was the guy who had a really deep voice. His deep voice was just fantastic. But the whole thing was flat. Every single vocal was flat. I just didn't appreciate this song at all. I'm sorry, not my thing. I'm literally going to go for no points out of 5 for vocals, but I'm going to give 1 to the guy with the deep voice. Italy, super catchy song, but it's lost the attitude for me. When she sang on her own, there was so much attitude, so much charisma, and it was sarky. There was like a sarcastic element to it. And because of the dancers, that had gone for me. Gone. I didn't get it. And another one that changed costumes, but this time they changed back. So the first rehearsal, they put that costume on, they changed to something else for the second, and then back again. And I like this one, so I'm glad they went back to this particular costume. Snatchy breath at times. It definitely had more attitude when she was on her own. She did have enough charisma to be able to carry it as well. No offence to the dancers, mind you. I just felt that she didn't really need them. The whole thing was a little bit underwhelming. 4 out of 5 for vocals. Israel. I know you're all waiting for my comments on this one, and I am completely aware that I didn't do a reaction to the original song when it came out. This was because all of us Eurovision reactors, we've had absolute trolling throughout the entire process of whether we should react, whether we shouldn't react. And literally whatever we would have done, we would have been in trouble. We would have been trolled either way, whether we reacted or didn't react. So I didn't react to the first song, but then I thought, do you know what? I should actually say what I think about the performances, because the song, I really enjoyed it. I'm not looking at it at a political level, not at all. I'm looking at a song in its own right, how she performed it, the whole stage element, taking out all the politics. It's a really beautiful performance. Her vocals had so much texture, so much beauty, so much tonal quality. The dances were fantastic. I just really enjoyed it. A bit pitchy at the end for the vocals, but it was 5 out of 5 for vocals. And I'm sure I will still get some trolling in the comments because I have spoken about this. But I'm trying to stay out of the politics as much as possible, because I have my own opinion, you have your own opinion, but at the end of the day, the EBU have said, yeah, we're putting the song in the competition, so we should let her perform, let her do the song if the EBU have agreed to that. So I thought she did a good performance, I thought she was brave, I enjoyed it. Right, Norway. This came off really well. In the rehearsals, I felt that her vocals were a little bit weak from time to time, but it's ridiculously hard what she's doing. That chorus, that folk sort of battle cry, if you like, so hard, but she absolutely nailed it on the night. I wasn't sure if this song was going to be picked up by the audience, whether they would really appreciate it or not. I can actually hear it in my head right now, and I could listen to that chorus over and over and over because it was superb. So 5 out of 5 for vocals.
Aan het einde van de dag zijn we allemaal mensen. De vader zei me ooit, het is wereld zonder grenzen.
Right, so last one, Netherlands. The meaning of the song didn't come through at all for me. Only at the very end, when he sort of did the speaking part, did I appreciate where he was coming from with the song. I thought it was very cheese. I don't know, it just didn't work for me very much. It felt like it should have been in a Lego movie. Wasn't really sung vocals, so it's not something I should, really be able to comment on all that much. I would say 1 out of 5 for vocals, and it felt very much like There's No Limits. Then we get this nice nostalgic trip, and we get to see some of the performers that have been before re-perform their songs. I thought that was really enjoyable. Then we get to do the sing-along thing. Let's sing along with the whole world singing along. Why were they lip syncing? The EBU woman, I'm sorry, I don't know what her name is, that was pretending to be the EBU. She sang live. She sounded awesome. But why was the presenter and the other singer not singing live? It was really bad lip syncing as well. It was so obvious they weren't singing it live. Cha Cha Cha, it was nice to have that thrown in as well. Love it. And then we get the screens opening so that you can see the green room, and it's literally like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the movie, like E.T., and you get that light that comes through. It's really effective though. I like that a lot. So, my best performance and best vocals for semi-final 2 has to be Switzerland. The fact that they sung so incredibly well while on the Revolve, the different parts of the song blended so very well together. This is absolutely the best one of the night, and I think it's going to be between Switzerland and Ireland at this point when we get to the final. Right, so to finish off my recap, let's have a look at who qualified and who didn't, what I got wrong and what I got right. Now, I didn't do this last year, sort of looking at who qualified and who didn't and was I right or not, so I thought it might be a nice thing to add into this year's recaps. Malta, I thought they were going to qualify. They didn't. Bit of a shame. Albania, I thought that they were going to qualify. They didn't. Quite a shame. I thought that it was a good song, but it's a shame that it didn't go through. Greece, I didn't think was going to qualify. That's just personally, I didn't like the song, and I didn't know if the audience would get it or not, but it qualified. I was wrong. Yes, all of you in the comments that were attacking me going, are you sure? Greece is absolutely going to qualify. It did. I was wrong. I don't mind holding my hand up and saying I was wrong. No one's perfect. Switzerland, I said it would qualify. It absolutely did. I reckon it's going to win. Czechia, I put as no Q. It didn't qualify. Kind of expected that. We had France performance. We then had Austria. I thought it was going to qualify. It did. Denmark, I thought was going to qualify. It didn't. Armenia, I didn't think would qualify, and it did. Latvia, I thought would qualify, and it did. Spain performance. San Marino, didn't think it would qualify, it didn't. Georgia, I thought would qualify, it did. Belgium, I thought would qualify, it didn't. Kind of shame though, because I did like the song, just the performance of it was a bit of a shame. Estonia, I didn't think would qualify. I was wrong. It qualified. That was my biggest surprise of the night. I'm like, what? Estonia's song qualified? Okay. Then we had Italy. Then Israel, I thought was going to qualify. It did. Norway, I didn't think would qualify. I didn't know if the audience would get the song or not. And the style, they did. They loved it. So that one qualified. And finally, the Netherlands, I thought it would qualify. And it did. So I didn't do as well with this semi-final too, did I? But I was definitely better at kind of figuring out who was going to qualify for semi-final 1. It's now time to talk about the big final. The big final on Saturday night. Now, I think it's going to be between Switzerland and Ireland. I see them being right up at the top of the board. I also think there's the few others that might be close up there as well. Croatia being one. That's a fun song. I think that's going to be up there somewhere as well. Latvia, it's a tricky one. I'm not sure on Latvia. But I do think that it's going to be a fight to the death between Switzerland and Ireland at this point. But it could all change when we get to see their performances on Saturday night. Now, I haven't seen the running order for Saturday night yet. It came out late last night. I was shattered. I went to bed. So I'm going to have a look what the order is and get it listed ready for tomorrow night. So before you go, make sure you subscribe, because it's surprising how many of you watch but don't subscribe. So please do, because I do Eurovision every single year and I don't want you to miss a second. So please ring the bell and subscribe and all that so you don't miss anything. But also, after Eurovision has ended, I will be getting back to my usual stuff, things like Girl Band Thursday, Musical Theatre Monday, Fabulous Friday. All of those things are going to be coming back, and I will do a reaction to Perry Edwards. I've had so many people send messages through, please do it. Also, there's been a performance of Ariana. I think she was at the Met Gala, her and Cynthia, so I might have to find that and look that up, because that might be nice to watch. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you appreciate my recaps. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, loves.